Hey friends, welcome back to Learn and Transform. In this episode of my Study Abroad series, we're going to talk about 10 things to maximize your language learning while you're abroad. So this is going to be quite a rambly and long video, so I put timestamps in the description section and in the pinned comment, so feel free to skip around the video if you feel like it and if you don't have time. I don't claim to be an expert on language learning, and I'm still working on my language skills, but while I was abroad, and I will be abroad for the time being, I learned a thing or two about learning foreign languages, and few of them are actually what I wish I would have done from the day zero of my foreign language learning journey. So I would like to share that with you because, sharing is caring. Unfortunately, you can't really pick up foreign languages up to the full-on level just because you're abroad if you don't intentionally put efforts in it. So yes, you'll definitely see some improvements in your foreign language skill at the beginning, but it's going to plateau when you reach a certain level. This is where the intentional learning should come into play, but ideally before you reach this level. So I think we should not fall into this misbelief that living abroad for 4 years will give us the mastery in foreign language. So these are the 10 tips and tricks that I have learned over the years of my journey abroad. Like I said, I'm not an expert in language learning, but I just wish I would have applied some of these to my daily lives abroad from the day zero. Let's briefly talk about one goal that we should think about to maximize our language learning abroad. I think our goal should be integration and immersion rather than experience when we are studying abroad for the long term. I think experience is a perfectly good strategy, but probably only when you're studying for the short term, because experience sort of implies something shallow. But when you're studying abroad for the long term, like 3-4 years of college or something, I think we should rather go for immersion and integration. Basically, be the local in terms of language learning. Okay, then let's just jump into the first tip, which is to take an intensive language course even before your first semester begins. Depending on your language skill, it may be hard for you to jump right into your major study in a foreign language that you're learning. So I think practicing your foreign language skill with other international students in a language course will be greatly helpful. It'll give you confidence and allow you to bond with other international students who share the same concern as you. But one thing I want to stress here is that don't just blindly take the course, but try to apply what you have learned in the language course to your daily lives. Because I think there is a big difference between talking to a native speaker and talking to other international students. Talking to a native speaker requires a lot more courage. When I first went to Germany in 2019, so this was right before the COVID-19 pandemic, I decided to take a pre-semester German intensive language course. I think it really helped me settle down in Germany as an international student. It gave me confidence, and the lessons and phrases that I had learned in the class were easier to apply my daily lives in Germany. Also, this is where I made a lot of international friends at first, which also helped me a lot to settle down as an international student in a foreign land. And number 2, don't get fixated on your grammar. I know that grammar is important, but it could act as a huge friction if you get fixated on it. It's going to slow you down and it's going to lower your confidence. Just try to learn the basics of the grammar and apply. Speak to your friends, even if you know that you made a mistake. This is just a practice, and down the road, you'll have plenty of chances to improve your grammar. So for now, screw grammar, just speak the language. Number 3. Try to speak your foreign language as much as possible and try to minimize speaking your native language as much as possible. I'm talking about outside of your class in your free time. So it's important to spend a lot of time with the locals instead of the people from your home country. This is how you learn to talk like a local, by picking up their phrases and expressions while you're hanging out with them. And this is also how you learn their culture. And number 4. Separate the academic language from the daily or conversational language. I think there's a big difference between those two. Some of you might disagree, but I personally think that conversational language is harder to pick up because conversational language, it is very spontaneous and it involves culture and humor. And culture and humor, they're like harder to learn. Academic language or classroom language, on the other hand, is quite predictable. For the classroom language, I think you can be totally prepared by looking over the PowerPoint slides or textbooks in advance. And the languages that they use in the classroom are not that complicated. Number 5, make local friends. Try to hang out with the locals as much as possible. For your language learning, unsurprisingly, it's better to hang out with the locals as much as possible, or at least the international students. I think it is very easy for us to form comfort zones with the people from the same country because you share the same childhood and you know the culture, you know the same TV program, that kind of stuff. I know this is hard because we're trying to hang out with people who are different from us, like culturally and personally, but you might have to push yourself a little bit. When it comes to language learning, it is highly rewarding, and I would like to encourage you because it is totally possible for you to form human connection with the locals because they're humans and you're going to the same college and you're studying probably the same thing and stuff. So yeah, totally, there must be things to talk about. One thing to keep in mind on this front is that you're gonna have to be the one who actively goes to talk to them and introduces yourself. Don't wait for them to come to talk to you and introduce themselves to you because you're the one who is interested in talking to them. It's not them. I know that this is gonna be hard at first, but this is going to be a very useful people skill when you actually have to work with the foreigners in the future. This brings us to point number 6, which is that people are more generous than you think. We tend to be a little bit afraid when we are speaking foreign language to the native speakers especially that, oh, they're gonna be judging us, oh, what if my grammar is bad, or what if my sentences are bad, what if I'm slow, what if they lose their interest, that kind of stuff. But based on my own experiences and other international experiences that they told me, people don't really judge your foreign language skill. Some people like to encourage you to speak more by complimenting your language skill and appreciating your effort because you're actively trying to learn the culture and the language, which is important to them. Number 7, start writing a journal to learn how to express yourself. When we have a conversation in a foreign language with other people, especially the native speakers, we tend to think that we have to be quick and we have to be clear. Otherwise, they might lose their interest in talking to us if we're too slow or if we're like not clear. This might give us some pressure, so this is why we need to slow down a bit by organizing our thoughts and putting them on a piece of paper. One thing I want to stress is that this is not to impress the native speakers or other international students, but your own language learning, because we want to be at least clear when we are speaking a foreign language. To do that, you could write a journal where you take your time to formulate your sentences to reflect your day, and next day, you could use these carefully formulated sentences to your friends or to your professor. If you do this consistently, your language skill will improve for sure. Number 8, take a discussion-based class with a small number of students. I think this is one of the best ways to improve your foreign language skill, especially your speaking skill or public speaking skill in particular, because it takes a lot of clarity and courage to be able to speak a foreign language in front of the native speakers in a professional environment, because you have to use professional language and formal language to be able to clearly express and explain what you're thinking. This is also tremendously different from speaking to your friends. Depending on what classes you're taking or depending on what level of classes you're taking, this could be an advanced level, but this is very helpful. Number 9, try to read good books in multiple disciplines in the foreign language that you're learning. Reading comprehension is a fundamental skill. Being able to read your PowerPoint slides and textbook doesn't mean that your overall reading comprehension is good in the foreign language. This is also a great way to improve your vocabulary, which is also integral to improve your foreign language skill. For example, I did my final year of high school in Japan, and I try to read the newspaper in Japanese every morning. And I remember that this was very helpful when I took college entrance exam in Japanese and taking the Japanese language test, which was Japanese language proficiency test like N1 level or something. Number 10, get a work study or part-time job abroad. Using the foreign language in a work environment will definitely harness your language skill, because communication with your coworkers and your bosses and writing professional emails, all that kind of stuff, will be directly helping you improve your language skill in every way. Writing skill, speaking skill, you need the reading comprehension on top of other miscellaneous skills that you need. So it is two birds, making money while learning the foreign language. So this brings us to the end of this video. I hope you got some value out of this video, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. And yeah, make sure to subscribe if you're interested in getting more tips and tricks on studying abroad and learning languages or vlogs abroad, that kind of stuff. I'll be flying to the United States pretty soon, and I'll be shooting vlogs and sharing my lives. And if you like this video, please go check out this video, which is where I talk about how to build self-discipline abroad, which I think is also very important. I hope to see you again there, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.